try to follow my intuition. I'm not thinking too much about the structure. I think the structure comes by itself. It's not by being too much conscious about it. I think the brain works that way, that it knows unconsciously things that are catchy and bring it back by itself. So it's quite an inconscient work, but sometimes there are little calls like, oh, redo this one that you did in the beginning, and then it comes as a form. I think it can be actually many forms. We started with the sonatas. I think Julia had this idea of opus with 4 movements, but it can be also just 5 miniatures as just a cycle of piece. It can be nocturnes, impromptus, barcarolle. I think we can also find to each opus a certain specificity in the form. Yeah. I think that sometimes in some pictures I try to put myself into the landscape. For example, when you see a long landscape with very far mountains, it looks almost abstract, but I can imagine the movement of the drone or Julia being there. I can also imagine myself in the process of walking through and discovering. So this movement in music is something that flows and goes on and shapes into something bigger, as when you walk and you sometimes meet like a mountain or something. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's I would say it's one of the 3 main material and the image that I'm trying to get a feeling through. Texture, colors, and of course the motion, the movement inside. Well, I don't really often improvise alone in the studio. That's just more for me to warm up or to disconnect my brain to too many thoughts. But well, the perspective of playing for an audience is of course richer, because you are narrowing your emotions and your language into something essential. I mean, at least try to get into an essence of something and making everyone believe that what you're doing now is exactly what you want. Yeah, it does. I think it does as much as when I play the repertoire. The energy in the whole of the audience, the way they listen, has an impact. And yeah, but that was the premiere, so let's see for the next one. But for sure. I think for me it's when I feel I'm making a sound that I was really aiming for. A sound that is a bit not never heard before, but something that is really special, and to try to search for it. And that's a combination of many things. Of course, it's not the sound as a sound, it's a sound because of this harmony, because of this way of approaching, because of where it comes from. And to create moments like that where I'm in total control of what I want to do, and that can be so far and in the intimacy, for example, and that I hope it feels like it can be shared, and I hope it is. So that's I think magical moments in the performance. Yeah. I think it's just emotion, like raw emotion made into sound and visual, and it's abstract, but it works inside. I think when you receive that, I mean, at least when I did see the picture first, and it works inside. It's like really alive. I think everywhere. I don't think it's a project that has limitation in itself. That's exactly the opposite of that. So I don't know, in Iceland, for example, because this first series of feature comes from there, but also, I don't know, in Switzerland, in Verviers, in America, has some beautiful landscape, and I don't know, that could also be very inspiring, like to go to Montana or Alaska and try to find the translation as well now with the photographies in this other landscape, with all the landscapes has to tell us. And yeah, it's kind of a big storytelling. It's a world storytelling.